get to the money. Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. So you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family's straight. Gotta make sure that the kids in there. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family's straight. Gotta make sure that the kids in there. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.
Welcome to another episode of Drinking After Dark, a podcast where we discuss random topics while having a few drinks. I'm your host, Darius, and as always, drink responsibly. And y'all make sure y'all follow Drinking After Dark podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And y'all make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe to Drinking After Dark podcast YouTube channel. Tonight, look, I ain't drinking on anything at all, man. I'm just drinking water, man. Drinking water. Tonight, been a hot day. I'm just taking it easy tonight, all right? So I'm just drinking water tonight. And I hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope all of you enjoyed your 4th. Thoughts and prayers to those in Texas. So hope everybody is safe down there. But we're gonna get into a couple of different topics. A couple of sports related. But we gotta start off with this, all right? I love ESPN. I love Stephen A. Smith. But he did make some comments regarding the BET Awards. Okay, now if y'all saw my last episode, I talked about the BET Awards and how I felt about the BET Awards. But Stephen A. Smith talked about it, but something specifically he talked about. Okay, now y'all know when it comes to these award shows, whatever it could be, BET Awards, the VMAs, Grammys, Oscars, the SAG Awards, ESPY Awards. They always like to honor those who have passed on. Okay. Obviously the BT Awards is no different. And of course they honor those, but there was one particular person that Stephen A. Smith did not agree with. And that was OJ Simpson. Okay. OJ Simpson passed away back in the springtime in April with cancer. And Stephen A. Smith had he has some words. He has some words. Now, here's the thing. Before I get started, just to let y'all know, everybody's entitled to their opinion about anything and everything. So that's okay. He feels that way. That's how he feels. But you don't speak for everybody. Okay. You don't speak for everybody. You can just only speak for yourself. Now, here's my take. The comments he made and basically bringing up the we could say the biggest trial ever. Okay, we know it was considered the trial of the century um, back then, but it's still the biggest trial ever. Okay, and the debate will always go on. Did OJ do it? Did he not do it? That will always. I think it should be put to rest. Man died. Ain't nothing else you can do. But he basically brought up his past and what has happened during that time, right? Obviously he was accused of double murder. Obviously the police chasing a white Bronco, everything, big story. And he brought that up saying you're honoring this man for something that he allegedly did. Okay. Now here's my thing to Stephen A. Smith. He's entitled to his opinion, but we got to stick to this, right? OJ was found not guilty in the court of law. You're gonna ridicule the BET Awards for, you know, if he was guilty, they wouldn't have done it. Let's just call it what it is. That would even mention him in the memoriam. They they he was found not guilty. Okay. Now some people believe he was still guilty. We have a big problem in this country where it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but obviously you're guilty no matter what. All right. And not only that, but I think Stephen A. Smith, in my opinion, need to let that go because Ewers, let's just be honest, he was on Kyrie when he refused to take the vaccine. His personal choice. Okay, that's the man's personal choice. That's his right. If he don't feel safe with the vaccine, ain't enough research done with it during that time of COVID and all that stuff. You gonna ridicule a guy because it was his personal choice? Then you're gonna go after the BET Awards about mentioning OJ and part of their memorial, and he wasn't even found not guilty. That's the thing that's crazy to me. You criticize the BET for that. Okay, there's other things you could have criticized the BET Awards for. Okay, the overall show, things like that. Yeah, but to bring that up, and I think you're the only person that brought that up. Realistically, you bring that up, but yet you defend Jerry Jones for a picture of him. If y'all remember that picture, a young Jerry Jones. Obviously, there was how can I describe it? It was a picture when he was young, and there was some racial tension going on. He was there, and you're defending Jerry Jones, right? And to be fair, we don't know. It was just a picture. To be fair, it was just a picture. We don't know what was done, but people can make assumptions, right? But he's defending that, but yet OJ was found not guilty. That's what's getting me. He was found not guilty. Let the BET Awards, I mean, let them do what they do. Okay. Now, here's the thing. OJ, if y'all for the younger generation, that probably heard of him, don't know anything about him. OJ was one of the greatest football players to ever play the game of football. Okay. He played at USC, played in NFL, first running back to gain 2,000 yards in the season. First running back to do so. Okay. Which has only been 8 running backs total to ever uh, accomplish that feat. I personally felt like if Derrick Henry didn't get hurt, he would have done it twice. He was on his way to do it twice. But that's a whole nother story. Great football player. He got into acting. The Naked Gun franchise, if y'all seen it, funny franchise. I still watch it to this day. It was a part of that, obviously, and he faced some backlash too. A lot of people felt like he turned his back on the community and all of that stuff. You know, their opinion, but when it's all said and done, this man was found not guilty in criminal court of murder. Okay, double murder. And for Stephen A. Smith to go off on the BET Awards for that, I'm not understanding like what is your beef with that? What is your beef? There's a lot of things that was wrong with the BET Awards, but that's the one thing you pointed out. And don't get me wrong, he's not the only celebrity that, or he's not the only one who feels like he was guilty. There's other people that felt like he was guilty. Me, I feel like he went through the process. They found him not guilty. There was a lot of holes in the story. That's what that was. So, and I know he's gonna stick by it. I know he's gonna stick by it, but I just feel like at this particular point, let it go. Let it go. It's one award show. It's over. You know, it's done with. Just let it go. All right. That's it. Sometimes I feel like Stephen A. Smith is slowly turning into Jason Whitlock in the sense that that's not a good thing. I'm not a fan of Jason Whitlock, but Stephen A. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with that. But I just feel like for him to bring that up and it really touches, I'm like, he went through the process. He went through the process, and yet you're he was found not guilty. So I'm just trying to figure out why would you bring that up? Because I listen, I saw it, I ain't think nothing of it. I ain't think nothing of it. So out of all the things you could criticize the BET Awards for, that was one of the things that I gotta disagree with Stephen A. Smith, man. I'm a fan of his, but I gotta disagree. Do I believe Stephen A. Smith is the face of ESPN? Yes. Should he get paid his money? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that I gotta agree with everything somebody says. That just happened to be one of them. Y'all let me know in the comments, man. Was Stephen A. Smith right or wrong for his comments towards the OJ portion of the memorial that BET Awards did? All right, hit that. Let me know in the comments what y'all feel. All right, y'all. I just want to get that off my chest real quick. Now let's move to the sport of boxing. Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson. He is top 10 in the pound for pound rankings according to ESPN. He had his fight last weekend. It's supposed to be a statement fight, and it was a snooze fest. Okay. When you say this is going to be a statement fight, in the boxing fans' eyes, they're thinking about a knockout. That's what they're thinking about. They're thinking about a knockout. And due to the fact that you did not knock this dude out, would you first? Okay, let's get one thing straight. He's one of the most accurate punchers that's out there. Now he doesn't have a single knockout power punch. He doesn't have that. He does it in bunches. All right. Um, but this particular fight, he said this was going to be a statement. He had this dude in I think it was the 7th to 8th round, if I remember watching the fight. He could have knocked him out. And Timothy Bradley said, "You let him off the hook." His own trainer, who is his grandfather, told him, "Hey, listen, let your hands go." I mean, I understand, he's a defensive fighter, right? He wants the big bucks, right? He wants to be on pay-per-view. He wants the main event pay-per-view. Guess what? There's an entertainment aspect to the sport of boxing. And when you don't get rid of a guy when you're supposed to and you let him survive all 12 rounds. And he really wasn't running. I mean, he ran a couple of times, but he was still in there, you know, punching back and all of that stuff. Didn't have much of an effect on you, but he was still doing that. I saw that. So he really wasn't running like that. You were supposed to get him out around that 7th to 8th round mark, and you didn't. If that was Bud Crawford and he saw him and he know, oh, I could get rid of him right now, that's what he would have done. If it was Tank Davis, which people said, I guess that's what he wants. He wants to Tank Davis. Dude, you ain't gonna be able to be in the ring with Tank Davis. Tank Davis is on a whole nother level. Like he is up here, right? Um, even like you have guys like Deontay Wilder. Wasn't the most skilled fighter, but he had that knockout power that people are drawn to. That's why he could do the pay-per-view fights and all that. Shakur Stevenson got booed in his hometown. Fans were leaving before the 12th round. There was no excitement. They thought they had it. They thought they was like, oh, it was like a tease, right? Like I said, that 7th, 8th round, Timothy Bradley even said it. Still let your hands go. Knock him out. Your grandfather told you let your hands go. You didn't do it. And then you criticizing, boxing experts. You going on criticizing the fighter that you was going against because he was running. What was he supposed to do? Supposed to stand there and let you punch him? No. Your job is to cut off the ring and get him out of there. Not only that, but you go on responding to like Cameron and Mace. And I love Cameron's response, by the way, to Shakur Stevenson. If y'all haven't seen it, y'all go watch that because that's probably the best response I've seen towards Shakur Stevenson. Out of everybody criticizing him, Cameron, hey, listen, his response to Shakur Stevenson was the best. Okay, him and Mace together on their podcast is amazing, right? And yet you turn down what was it? Was it 5 fights, 15 million? So like 3 million per fight, something like that. A deal with Top Rank because you think you're gonna get more money. That was just shot to get paid more money. Lomachenko ain't gonna fight you. Why? It's not for him. It's not a good business move for him. Okay, you got the sport aspect of it. You have the entertainment aspect. You have the business aspect. Two of those aspects wouldn't have been met. So for him, um, it's not a sound business decision for him. Okay. Um, who else? I don't know why people try to put him in the ring with Tank. I don't see how that's going to happen. Tank will destroy Shakur Stevenson. As great, and I'm not saying he's not a bad fighter. Shakur Stevenson is a great boxer. Okay. He is just not pay-per-view main event material type of boxer. He's not on that level yet. So until somebody in his camp let him know, hey, listen, in order for you to probably get these big paydays, these you got to string all of these fights where just knockout, 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 knockout. Let the people know, like, hey, I can get rid of a fighter when they on the ropes. You saw there was a picture circulating with Bud Crawford in the in the stands, eyes closed. You're in your hometown. You're not supposed to get booed in your hometown. You got booed in your own hometown. And then you're gonna say you don't care what the fans say about your style, you're gonna keep doing what you're doing. Guess what? You're not gonna get the money you think you're gonna get then. People want to see you pay-per-view, big, uh in these big fights against better quality opponents, bigger name opponents. Not saying that the fighter he went against wasn't a quality opponent, because he definitely was a quality opponent. And I think that's why it should have been a knockout. And he let it uh he just let that thing just slide. He just let it slide. So, that's why I just think that, by the end of the day, uh he really needed this to really put his stamp on the sport and let people know, yes, I'm a main event guy, a pay-per-view main event guy that people want to see their money um to watch, especially from home. Okay. I get it. A lot of boxers want to, fight in their hometowns and everything like that. But we all know the big fights that are made in Vegas. And if you can't get to Vegas, it's kind of like, I mean, you could do Madison Square Garden. Um, what else? Where else? You might even go to the crypto arena in LA. But but by the end of the day, it gotta be it just has to be a big name fighter in Vegas. Make it intriguing. Um, but I think his next, whatever he does next, somebody in his camp who has the business sense of saying, hey, look, we gotta get you these opponents, quality opponents, but you're gonna have to look for the knockout. You can't be afraid to get hit. The great knockout artists in the sport of boxing weren't afraid to get hit. Sometimes you gotta take a hit or two just to get your opponent out of there. So I think that's something that he should do. But to criticize people for wanting to see you take that next step, I think that's wrong. And to go after those people, they probably won't even support you again. You know, so I'll just say go back. You know, he's probably watching film with his grandfather, who was his trainer, and he's probably gonna let him know, look, man, you're gonna have to at this moment when you got the guy hurt, let your hands go. Your hands are quicker than his. Um, punch him in bunches. That power will accumulate. Get your opponent out of there. That's what I think he should do. So I think these next couple of fights, whoever he decides to fight next, um, he's gonna really have to make that big statement. It can't go 12 rounds. It cannot go 12 rounds. He just can't do it. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about, Team USA basketball, men's basketball, and this is focused around Kawhi Leonard. All right. So if y'all haven't heard, Kawhi Leonard basically dropped out of the Olympics to focus on the upcoming season. And you know, a lot of people was criticizing him for even trying to participate, right? Because they're like, hey, listen, when it comes to the Clippers, you're never there when we need you, but yet you can go and participate on the Olympic team in Paris. So after it was all said and done, he dropped out. Still, you know, came with backlash. Like, why would you even do that in the first place? He was replaced by Derek White of the Boston Celtics, uh, NBA champion Boston Celtics, I should say. And you know, one thing about Kawhi Leonard, you know, he played the most games he played in a very long time in this past season. And but yet, you know, when you're not there when they need you, it does something. It does something to the perception of you and everything like that. So I just feel like me personally, um, without really criticizing him, you know, I think this is a great move for Kawhi Leonard. Get healthy, get ready for the NBA season because we know next season is going to be a little bit different. You got Clay in Dallas now. Clay Thompson Dallas. Paul George is no longer there. He's on the East Coast. He's in Philly. So now he got to be healthy. You know, Kawhi Leonard has to be healthy and he has to be able to uh, show up. Well, not show up. Has to be available when the team needs him the most. And look, I'll disagree with Stephen A. Smith again. I don't think Kawhi Leonard is the worst superstar in history. I would never say that about a person. You know, does he is he injury prone? Absolutely. But there's been a lot of great players who've been injury prone. Okay. Uh he's a two-time champion, two-time finals MVP. He's accomplished a lot in his career. To say he's the worst superstar in the history of the league, I don't see how you could. I don't see it. You know, if you're gonna criticize him for him not being available when the team needs him the most. You know, some people say, "Hey, you should just go ahead and retire, hang it up." In a way, I could see that. I could definitely see that, but yeah, I don't know, man. It looked bad from the outside. It looked bad from the outside, and you know, do I think Team USA will win gold? Yeah, I think they will win gold. We already talked about the women's Olympic team already, um, so I'm not gonna touch on that. But I think for him to accept it, and Grant Hill really didn't want to come out and really say what he really felt, but I think everybody knew, hey, look, get healthy, you know, get healthy because he could get injured during the Olympics. That's one thing people don't know. These players, you know, not only Team USA, but all these players who represent their countries that's in the NBA or not in the NBA, there's always that risk of injury playing in the Olympics. So, I mean, it was the right move for him to say, "Hey, we don't want to risk anything because you have this." Excuse me. You have this history of injuries. So pull it back, get healthy, train for next season. I think they're gonna be in a new arena this coming up season. So hey, I think that's what he needs to do. Focus on the team that pays him uh more so than anything else. It's just my opinion. All right. All right, y'all, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in with me tonight. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up and subscribe to Drinking After Dark podcast. Make sure y'all follow on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And also, uh, you can catch the episodes on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. So check that out. Tell your friends and family about the platform. Until next time, I'm Darius from Drinking After Dark, and we out. Peace.
Get to the money, gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. So you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids in there. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids in there. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.